Hey, welcome to Digging into the Bible. My name is Jim Barnard. This is a production of Tiller Coaching. All right, well, it's day 48, and if you are listening on a podcasting platform, you might want to set down your device and get yourself to some YouTube, because I am looking crispy today. Woo! Today's section starts off with the question of who is the greatest, and when I was in my closet this morning, it was like, oh yeah, this nice holiday Festivus Green Bay Packers sweater vest maybe answers that question, because clearly the Packers are the greatest, although I don't think Jesus was talking about the NFL. So with that, I think we should just probably dig into the scriptures. This is chapter 18, starting at verse 1. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus, saying, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" And calling to him a child, he put him in the midst of them and said, "Truly, I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever receives one such child in my name receives me. But whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for him to have a great millstone fastened around his neck and to be drowned in the depth of the sea. Woe to the world for temptations to sin, for it is necessary that temptations come. But woe to the one by whom the temptation comes. And if your hand or your foot causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to enter life crippled or lame than with 2 hands or 2 feet to be thrown into the eternal fire. And if your eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away." Gross. It is better for you to enter life with 1 eye than with 2 eyes to be thrown into the hell of fire. See that you do not despise one of these little ones, for I tell you that in heaven their angels always see the face of my Father who is in heaven. What do you think? If a man has 100 sheep and one of them has gone astray, does he not leave the 99 on the mountains and go in search of the one that went astray? And if he finds it, truly I say to you, he rejoices over it more than over the 99 that never went astray. So it is not the will of my Father who is in heaven that one of these little ones should perish. So I stumbled there towards the end, but what a great section of scripture here. This first part about who is the greatest, Jesus presents a child. And it makes me really think of where we were 2 days ago, where Jesus was up on the mountain, and this transfiguration happens, and God appears and says, "This is my son of whom I'm well pleased." And then I tie that in with that's the same narrative for you and I, because if we can have a spirit of adoption, if we can be heirs with Christ, provided we suffer with Christ, this makes us like a sibling of Jesus, essentially. We are truly sons, and for that matter, daughters. I didn't address that 2 days ago, but let's not be sexist. We are children of God, and when he presents a child, he's saying yeah, we're the greatest. Don't get cocky here. I mean, there's something in here that I think is very pivotal. Ooh, pivotal. Check this out. In verse 3, it says, "Truly I say to you, unless you turn and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." We've talked about repenting. So I'm offended, and I'm turning away, and I'm repenting, and I'm turning back. And, these actions here are pivotal. But this action to go from offended to back to repentful, that takes humbleness. In verse 4, it says, "Whoever humbles himself like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." I think children are amazing because they are so innocent. They have not had their innocence lost. As a father, I say often that my job is to retain Anderson's innocence for as long as possible. Certainly there's other things I'm responsible for as a dad, but that is one of my number one goals, is to keep him innocent. So us repenting and turning back, it is claiming our innocence back. So we then become the greatest. This is amazing. Now we also have to keep our innocence. So check out this next section where it says, "Woe to the world for temptations to sin." Because temptations to sin it's part of our world. It's going to happen. And often these temptations to sin, it is the thing that's okay, well, I kind of want to check this out. And so then I become offended to God and choose this other thing, and those temptations are just awful. I was hanging out with a friend the other day that was coaching, and he was really in the midst of some serious temptation. And I actually said to him, wow, woe to you. Not in a condescending way, but like he's facing all of these temptations alone. And that's not the way to face temptations. Like we need to be in community. We need to be turned back to God and, not facing all of this alone. Like this is what it means to not humble ourselves. I was proud of my friend for sharing it and for speaking, what was true. And I was able to hold his arms up, during this time. So good. This next section with the lost sheep, it's, Jesus plays the role of trying to pull us back into the crowd. But if one of us goes astray, man, the 99 has to be concerned about it. And man, I want to go deeper onto this, but I'm way over time. Tomorrow we'll see how we have a responsibility in pulling the one back with the rest of us, the 99. But man, if you're facing temptations, I hope you're not facing them alone. If you are, woe to you. Maybe it's a time to choose to be humble. All right, thanks so much. I'll see you tomorrow.